I mean, it just went from nothing, and we had house guests who arrived at
They've
3
gotten to know
o'clock.
me pretty good.
And they said that they hit it a couple of times driving up too. So I'm like, well, you brought it, this is the kind of big city, you brought it with you.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I wanted, it was pretty fun. We did pizza this time. We ended up taking, I don't know how many, 10 or 12 over to the high school for the basketball.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, did you donation pizza? Or did
People
Some
donated
are-
towards it, yeah, there are, I don't know, three or four families. something like
Okay.
that.
it wasn't Wendy's.
It wasn't Jeff's.
Well,
Other half.
now, as you said, with driving here, there's a half a
Oh,
dozen
that's right.
people walking in the street, you know, and they could
Well,
find
there's, there's
walking.
Ashley,
Yes.
some are on the right, some are on the
coming
left.
in the,
But
Yeah.
I slowed down, you know, stop.
she lives up by the.
I don't try to splash them.
That's a couple more weeks when it's all built.
One-
No, but you know, I'm waiting for this
Kids.
to
Kids.
be able to walk
Comes in
again.
the
It's
parking lot.
supposed to be 50
Oh,
degrees.
goodness.
Yeah, she's one of those people.
You want a kid ever?
How's our tech genius coming?
Good. All right, we're all set.
We got the screen figured out? You did.
One more button.
Right, one more button.
There we go.
Why couldn't Victor get that to work the other night, do you know?
Huh?
Why couldn't Victor get that to work Monday, do you know?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't working. Welcome, everybody. That's beautiful spring day. Do we have anybody on Zoom or YouTube? Shout.
Right now.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order at 6:02. And Rachel, would you like to do roll call? And we have quorum.
Susan Clark,
Yep, here.
John Cups,
Here.
Dan Mulder here, Scott Reese,
Here,
Allison Larson here, Jessica here.
Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Any comments?
I thought they looked good. All I can remember.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I will make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Done. Let's see. Rachel, any board communications?
I'm aware of.
Great, and we have no public, so I think we're ready to roll. We're gonna change up the agenda just a little bit. We have just a couple little I's to dot and T's to cross on the bylaws. So the first thing is, it says bylaws for the park singular board. And the ordinance says park. The website says parks. I think we refer to ourselves as parks. So Victor is counseling us just to leave it. It doesn't matter. I think this is our chance while we're just getting started to fix it. So the only thing that has to happen is, I think the ordinance has to go back to council to be approved as parks versus park. We've got more than one park. is what my thought is.
Didn't last time we talk about Parks and Rec or Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, and if we're gonna change it, we could do that too.
And, you know, the
Parks
reason,
board is just nice and short and sweet, and I guess that could be our little nickname or that we call ourselves, but
the reason I ask is because in the community, people ask, you know, what do we do?
Mhm.
Why do we have a Parks Board, or why do we have
Mhm.
a Parks and Rec Director and things like that? So it's just, would it be better
I
to
think Parks and
explain?
Rec is commonly, well, there's a TV show about it, right?
There was. So
So
It's
it
up
may
to you
not be
guys,
up
but
to us, it'll have to go to
I'm just saying, a
council,
lot of
and they'll
people-
have to approve it or disapprove it, but
I think Parks and Rec would be
Parks and Recreation.
more fitting, honestly.
Yeah.
what, you know, because Rachel, what do you think? I mean, you know more about.
Honestly, I don't have an opinion either way. It's really a board decision. To be honest, I don't feel either way about it. I mean, it's assumed Parks and Recreation, but if that's what you want to formally be called, I support
I
that.
think it would be helpful.
But aren't you the Parks and Recreation
Director.
Director? So I think we should go with Parks and Recreation.
agree.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I mean, well,
I'll make a motion to change it to Parks and Recreation.
board. Okay.
Rachel, when you were at your meeting with other people, their departments are Parks and Recreation too, right? Yeah.
It varies, some are
Okay.
parks, I mean, they're all parks, plural, I mean, you don't hear singular, that's for sure. But some are parks and recreation, some are Parks and Recreation Advisory, it just kind of.
I went online and looked at like maybe 10,
Yeah.
and most of them are Parks and Recreation. Doesn't mean we have to do it that way. Let's see, there was one other thing, Rachel and I were back and forth on this whole term thing, but we've got it figured out now. As long as we need to change this, do we want to look at under Article 1, Section 4, the Parks Board is charged with promoting recreation programs. Developing and promoting, or you were saying you're going to develop them, so we can leave it at just promoting, and maybe it's too fine a point to even talk about.
It just covers the basis of it, so.
So we could add the word developing and promoting, because we really don't have any recreation programs per se right now. So we don't have anything to promote.
I think just leave it.
Okay. Good. Then do we have to come back and vote on this one more time next month before?
So we'll go one more time.
Well, we can vote on it now pending council's approval Monday.
Yeah, they're just not official till they're signed at the next meeting, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so can we vote that we approve them with that one change, and then we don't have to wait yet another month for council to approve and come back? Let's try and do that, and then
Yeah,
I guess,
Who signs?
I sign and Dan will sign.
So
So they would
we
have
we
to,
could make that motion now,
correct.
approve
and
it
you and I could just sign it.
pending a rubber stamp next Monday
I would
night.
assume so.
Then you could just stop in here
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday or something like that, and you two could sign it in front of Victor or whoever. And
So I would like to make a motion then that we approve the bylaws with the one change of changing park to Parks and Recreation.
second, pending council
Pending
approval.
Council approval. Good. I might shortcut things a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Easter egg hunt. Easter egg committee.
Do you want to talk about Arbor Day real quick?
Sure. Do we have the date?
Yeah, it's May 20th.
May 20th, okay. May
Arbor
28th
Day.
is Arbor Day, and it's a Saturday, and it's gonna be at Kiwanis this year. And the time,
May
I
what?
should sure know this,
11 to 2.
11 to 2. And we would love to have volunteers from the Parks Board. We've got a bunch of fun stuff planned. Let's see, Ben Veeling is gonna come and do tree climbing demonstrations, and anybody over 18 can strap into a harness and go up a tree. Thought that sounded pretty fun. Let's see, Patrick Wise, who's on the tree board, is an artist. And so he's gonna be doing workshops on making art with nature. So the kids are up doing walks with me, doing tree identification. They'll be picking up things that they can bring back and make into things. I'm gonna do a walk and talk about trees.
So that's,
so-
is that May?
Yes.
Is that Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, might be.
Yes, it is.
It
Memorial
is.
We
Day.
did it
Yeah.
last weekend and.
Saturday
last
is
year.
Memorial Day
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah, okay.
Josie, this would be a good opportunity for any National Honor
What's the date?
students as well for volunteering. Be short and
Rachel, what's
sweet.
the date again?
May 28th.
But Dana, or whomever, I have a question, because I know that it's also on the tree board agenda this week. So it's their event, as opposed to the Parks and Rec.
Yes, and we've talked about having the parks participate with us.
Okay, so it's not our responsibility, okay.
It's not your responsibility, but we would
Okay,
love to
yeah,
have some extra
yeah, yeah.
volunteers. Is his name Eric Hemingway?
Yes,
Yep, so he's gonna come talk about the history of the area and trees and how Native Americans use trees. We're gonna have hot dogs and hamburgers. Maybe the fire department wants to get involved. You think about it.
Memorial weekend.
No, you'll be busy. Well, there's always.
Well, it'd
people
be tough to
older.
have anybody around. But I'll ask.
Yeah, see if anybody wants to.
I know I've already got,
Either the tree board meeting tomorrow.
I wanted an ATV on the far side of the UP that weekend.
Sweet.
The Memorial
You
Day
could do
parade is
ATV
on
rides
Memorial.
there. Shoot, that'd be fun too.
Yes.
Let's see, we're gonna do a trail cleanup.
10.
Another fire.
Not me.
Okay, so if people just wanna pencil that in, and if you can make it, and then Josie, if you wanna
And
see
what
how
were
many
the
people.
hours?
I think it's 11 till 2.
Okay. And Josie, if you have people interested in volunteering, they can email, you can give them my email,
Okay, perfect.
and then I'll pass them along.
And then Rachel, maybe in your summary, if you wanna put the dates and time, again, that would be awesome. Good. Easter egg hunt. We've got a date and times for that.
Yeah, and we even have a brochure. Where is it? Do you have a picture of it?
I didn't bring the flyer.
Oh,
with me
I
today.
didn't- I didn't bring it, I thought you
Sorry,
should.
sorry.
Rachel's already made a really nice flyer.
What-
I
What is
have
the
the
date and
note
time?
to make a few changes that we had suggested. I just
Yeah,
haven't.
so far, it's on April 16th, which is the Saturday after Good Friday before Easter at 11 o'clock at Zorn Park, at the north side of Zorn Park along the sidewalk. And we've had discussions that we're gonna have areas roped off by age groups. And I don't know if we've decided if it's going to be plastic eggs with candy inside or a mix. or-
So I have a list of things to
Yeah,
order.
you can talk how much you want.
I just wanted to discuss with you two and everyone else before I order them. One, Susan Clark and her family are kind enough to donate and sponsor the event.
Thank you.
So-
That's
Yes.
so wonderful.
So that's great news.
How long is it gonna be, do you think, 11 to what?
But they usually take about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think
Quick.
11:30.
Real
Okay.
So I have roped in the office to help me fill the eggs. Each person has to do 10 a day. So we're gonna do that just because it's,
And I
it saves a lot.
can, I'll be out of town, that week.
Okay,
I'm gonna be out of town pretty much for 3 weeks in a row. I'll be gone the 25th of April, or I'm sorry. Let me get back, the 29th of March till the 10th of April.
okay,
And I'm home for 3 days and then I leave for Easter.
okay,
So I can come and stuff eggs before I leave, like next week.
perfect.
And for, an hour or so.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, it just made the price a lot lower. just
Okay.
Stuffing them, and when everyone in the office was willing to help, that's pretty simple.
What's the latest on food safety with candy and eggs? Does it have to be wrapped candy or can you put loose jelly
It
beans?
has to be wrapped.
It should be
Yeah,
wrapped,
yeah.
yeah.
So I have like 1,000-piece bulk candy. You want to get like the little ones, and then another bag. I have the Easter costume on here for Snyder, and then an extra large, correct?
Who's gonna be the
Yes.
Easter egg?
Snyder.
The Easter Bunny, I'm sorry.
So
Easter Bunny.
Eric Snyder, who you know from
Pearson's,
Pearson.
Yes.
phenomenal
He
tourism.
actually, he loves to dress up. And he has both an 11-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son that will be there, but he loves to dress up and he has seen the costume and he'll be a great, Easter bunny.
Good one to roll.
And I'm gonna order all this tomorrow,
But
so
if he
it'll
can't
come, we
come.
can get it to them, and then if there are
Right.
any issues, we'll have time to kind
Right,
of
if
figure
you
it
have any
out.
fitting issues,
Yeah.
then we exchange.
And then,
Just one other thought
Yeah.
on candy. Are we being kind of careful about choking stuff or?
yeah, I got some chocolate ones, like bigger pieces, and then some,
Did you
Like
just go to
smaller
Gordon's? Cause you can get the little tiny, Mars,
yeah, I've
Just
talked
do
to
that
Gordon's
yeah.
too.
You better not get any with the nuts though.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Good point. And are we using the eggs that are up there?
Yeah, but I'm also gonna order 300 of like the medium-sized ones, because all the ones at Kiwanis, although they're in good shape, are really small. So I'd like some medium-sized ones. So 300 of those, and then only because I was using Amazon for everything, because we have tax exempt through our account, I just picked out the really generic Easter egg totes, and they have like bunnies, eggs, what else is on there? A butterfly.
Yeah, my only comment about the
What'd you pick?
totes,
I'm sorry, what you picked out?
They're just like goodie bags.
Yeah,
the
we said
kids,
we were
just to
gonna
collect
eat Easter
bags.
baskets, but they're
Yeah,
gonna be.
but I
sold.
did like the idea of having our logo, so I think for other events, we should do that. And I'll still look on Amazon, because I'm sure they have that option too, and I'll see.
So
what
Rachel, you
just-
can get stamps with the logo on it,
Yeah.
so we could stamp paper bags.
Yeah, or something like
That's a good
that,
idea.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take a look.
But on the bags, Rachel,
After it's official, the Parks and Recreation Board, you
Yeah.
have a Harbor Springs Parks and Recreation Board stamp made, so for future events, we have it.
Should it be board or department? I feel like Parks and Recreation
Board,
board.
okay.
Why don't we just say Parks and Recreation?
Yeah.
Words.
I would just say
Harbor
Harbor Springs Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
but one of the things, Rachel, on the bags, whatever you choose, some are water resistant,
Yeah.
you know, that I look up at, because who knows if it's gonna be wet or
Yeah.
damp and,
That's a good point.
you know,
Is this kind of like a paper bag then, as opposed to like a?
they have non-woven ones that are water resistant.
Yeah, that's what I had,
I
was
think that's the
none.
best way to go, depending upon, you know, if the park is,
Like a grocery bag, kind of like the.
yeah, it looks, yeah, they're
Are
really
these
cute.
gonna be like reusable ones, or do the kids take
They
them?
can
They
be.
take them home.
Oh, they'll take them home, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna buy them in bulk, so we can.
And the discussion was 10 eggs per kid, but you know, this is the first time, like everything, we don't know if they're gonna be
So I do
50
have the
kids
flyer, I just took that
or
off.
100. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Cause I agree, like if we, like what you said, if we don't have enough, they could take 20 eggs, you
Right.
know, we don't wanna be picking them up.
So that would be one idea on how big a bag we get, like not to get them too big. or-
Right.
No, they're not.
40 eggs.
They're not-
Yeah, I looked
they're
at the
for little
reviews
kids.
and usually people will post photos next to something, so you can kind of see, so I'll look into that. But I will order all this stuff tomorrow to make
And
sure.
did
it's
you
in.
already talk to Lucas about the roping it
I
off
did.
with the stakes
Yes.
thing?
Yep.
And how many groups did we think we were gonna
I
have?
have it written
By age,
down
we haven't decided
somewhere.
that?
No.
I think it was 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and 9 plus.
Yes.
Isn't that what we decided? Yeah, that's what I have written down.
So John, you're in the 9+.
And then the police with the air horn for the kickoff. That's 11.
And then are the kids gonna pre-register or parents
I'll have Joe
gonna
up.
just show up?
And then I know we wrote down photography, but getting a photographer out there is pretty expensive, and I think we'll be free enough to take photos on our
Yeah.
phone.
That's
Yes.
okay,
We've been getting away with that during our sledding events, so.
that's good.
Yeah, most of these phones now got.
Really high tech.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for like bigger events like Fall Fest, things like that, when we're all busy doing other things, definitely.
But you know, a lot like we did with the Marina Park Committee, because everything was the first year, you
Right,
know, are 20 people gonna show up? 400 people? We don't know,
right.
but a lot of people are out of town then. But if we promote,
Or people have their grandkids here and we have more kids.
right,
Right.
or if we promote, you know, somehow in
Well, if you get
Petoskey,
this flyer done soon enough,
the flyer's
it's gonna
ready.
go to the
Yeah.
schools,
Yeah.
so you know,
Right.
anybody that's gonna be in town. Well, actually, it's after spring break.
It's
for the
after
most part.
break,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
So
after
everybody will be back.
right.
the school spring break, but it's on the, you know, Easter weekend where
Yeah,
some
they
people
only-
may go
they
with
only
their
have
grandparents or whatever.
Half a day off Friday.
And on Monday's a break, but
No, they still have school Monday.
they do.
Yeah.
I'll finalize the flyers tomorrow and I'll get it
But
to
you
you.
know, it's just hard to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
how many people, you know, how many kids and parents. But, you know, I think it'll be well received
Yeah.
as long as we start, you know, posting the
The
posters.
weather's good,
now.
I think we'll be successful. I
Right.
mean, anything like that is weather.
So how many do you plan on though? Because this is gonna be township kids, city kids, like,
So we'll have
100.
300 of these and there is about 600 at Kiwanis. I mean, I didn't count them,
so
but
1,000 eggs
yeah.
at 10 each is
100 kids.
100 kids. Do you think we would have more than that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think if we had
100's
50,
a lot.
I think if we had 50 kids.
I
we
think,
would
you
be
know,
a
bowling
success.
on Main Street, which is usually April 1st, it can be the 2nd or something, usually 20, 30 kids.
Right,
That's it, you know, usually that's all.
Is there candy involved for that though?
I don't know. I don't really know, but you know, it's not a big turnout. But I think this will be bigger than bowling at Main.
Sounds good. Well, I'm available to help and
I will be there.
a couple people for each age group or something maybe? I don't know.
Not really. I mean, that's pretty much a free for all.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Just let them.
And just for gauging it, bowling on Main Street's during
Winter, spring break too, so.
Yeah, right.
it'll be,
But I haven't had anybody that didn't think it was a good idea, you know, that I've talked to.
It'd be pretty
Everybody said-
un-American, really.
Well, no, they think it's, you know, fun. It'd be a great thing. So I think we're, you know, it'll be successful and hopefully a tradition.
Cool. Any other thoughts or on to the next
No, you're good.
topic?
Good job.
Just keep it simple
All right, perfect.
so we know.
So let's see, I have one more kind of old business item. Did anybody have a chance to look at the recreation section in the city master plan? We were thinking maybe it'd be nice if Rachel or somebody went to that public input session. Oh, Bill doesn't want me there, so it can't be me. On Thursday.
This week?
Just to have any comments that we think about what they're putting in to the master plan about recreation.
Okay, what, is that the city council? Who is that?
The planning commission
Planning
is
commission.
hosting it, so they've just finished the city's master plan. And this is the public input session, right?
What time is it?
These hard questions here, Rachel can pull up on the city calendar. Usually meetings are at 5:30.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30. This Thursday.
Yes. It should be 2 days from now.
There it is, 5:30. 5:30.
Okay, and so what I came up with out of this. So the one goal they have is local recreation facilities will be conveniently located, exceptionally maintained, safe, attractive to users, and will continue to establish Harbor Springs as a work and play destination for year-round and seasonal residents. Good, right? Really good. And then one of the points, though, I would just make a recommendation. They're saying to work with Parks and Rec Department to develop an outreach program that promotes and educates residents and visitors about public waterfront space. So I would just say city parks. So do you think you can go to this meeting to bring these things up? Yeah. So we can talk about this. Did anybody else even look at this?
I mean, I've looked at the surveys,
Yeah.
you know, the park and rec surveys and,
This is
Try to
actually
understand.
the verbiage that's going to.
right, it's going into the master plan. I get it.
Rachel and I talked about taking out cross-country skiing. I don't think we need to offer that in Harbor Springs. There's so much in the surrounding communities. I think we should add ice skating. That's not there.
But if you left, I don't know why you need to take it out, because once if Kiwanis does get revamped,
Ice
you're gonna
skating,
have all the trails.
You could almost just leave it as winter recreation and then
Right.
leave the parks plan the specifics.
Yeah.
If we wanted
Yeah.
to have them make a change. I wouldn't take it out and add something different. I would just leave it more vague.
Certainly the
There you go.
enchanted forest things are very popular, but you know,
Sure.
I think right now it's just more winter activities,
Right.
not get so specific.
Well, I would agree, yeah, that necessarily doesn't have to be site specific, like what we're developing here.
Everything else looked good to me, though. The other goals were residents and visitors will enjoy a unique collection of recreation opportunities. The goal, city's plans for recreational facility improvements will be coordinated with the plans of other public entities, like talking about the schools. That's it.
Yeah, I'll go on.
Okay, shall we move on to the 5-year plan? Let's see. Any thoughts about public input opportunities?
So I've kind of played around with SurveyMonkey to come up with just a parks survey, and it's a little bit based off what the city did in 2020, a little bit off other cities. It's not finalized. I'll bring it to the board before we post it out. But we're looking for other ways if we're interested in doing like focus groups or a workshop where people can come and talk to us about the master plan, their ideas for the master plan. So I just kind of wanted guidance because that's something we should be looking at now for spring when our seasonal residents return. And there's
So
some
when we
people in
finish the
town.
5-year master plan, there will be a public hearing for that, so that'll be a chance
Yeah.
for input.
No.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if we wanna get ahead of that and get some input before we type all this up and then we realize that our community doesn't want what we think they want, so.
I think that's a fair idea. Would we pick one of our meetings to do that?
We could pick a meeting, we could do a totally separate forum, it doesn't even have to be here, we could do it anywhere, we could do it at Holy Childhood, we could do it at the schools, we could do it anywhere and kind of get a focus group of high schoolers, a focus group of parents, a focus group of seniors, you know, kind of spread the information. Just surveys are only as good as people that take them, is kind of my point. It'd be nice to have face-to-face conversations with the community on what they want, so.
I'd be all for that. What time frame do you think would be good?
I would like to do it in June. I feel like that's
Yeah.
when, do we agree? That's when people usually come back and town starts to
Yeah,
get more populated.
And then at that point, if there's anything that we do want to change in the master plan, we can before we make that public. Right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so are we listening to the people to decide what we're going, the direction this group is gonna go? Or do we, like, it sounds to me like the Kiwanis is our number one goal right now, or one of the number one goals. I'm afraid that, you know, we're not gonna be able to do everything, so we need to choose. I mean, if we chose the Kiwanis and really worked on that and got that organized, people would say, well, gosh, you know, they got this up and going. Then we can listen to other things that they would like.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we would,
So, yeah, you know, we can, I mean, I take those city surveys all the time,
right,
but it's just like, I don't wanna be looked upon like, okay, geez, they're looking at this, looking at that, but what have they done?
right.
And so, I think we just personally, we need to pick, you know, 2 projects or whatever and get those done and, you know, concentrate on those and then move on to the, you know, get input, I guess, but,
Yeah. And I agree. So they'd be very specific. Like if you did the focus groups, one of
Yeah.
them could just be for Kiwanis. Like, what do you want at Kiwanis? And then that would kind of
okay,
solidify what we really want to see up there.
okay,
And then one could be, I'm just trying to think of another part, like Marina Park, like the restaurant. I'm not saying that's what we're gonna do, but the restroom.
right,
If the public wants another building in that area, you know, we might have a bunch of feedback where people are like, absolutely not, do not put a building on Marina Park. But we're just not gonna know that until we ask. But I agree with you. We don't want to give them too many options or
it's just like,
information. 'Cause
then
that'll be
nothing
a
gets
mess.
done, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
But I say we pick like 2 or 3 large projects and
Yeah.
get input on them. And then that's what we put in our master plan for 5 years. So. Thoughts? Care if I run with that a little bit?
well, it's
You know,
good.
I mean,
Then we can pick one for next year, work on it.
Right.
I certainly think
Or
the
maybe 2.
community wants, you know, boardwalk update.
Use this
Right.
year to
Where are we at?
get by.
Where's it going?
Yeah.
yeah, my
Then get
feeling
after
is, the people I've talked to, I met with a bunch of
Go
people
after
last week.
Kiwanis this year, I think.
And if we don't get the
think
goose
we should
poop taken care
get a
of,
plan.
because that's disgusting, you can't even
Right.
walk down there. I would never let my kids swim at that beach, because the ducks and the geese are so disgusting. And if we don't get the boardwalk, wait until we get 4th of July and nobody can use that boardwalk. So if we don't get those 2 things taken care of, those are 2 things that people see all the time. And I don't even know, do they test the water at that beach?
Yeah.
They have-
Because do they, and it's
Yeah.
clear, John? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's-
They
oh,
test it weekly and we get the
Okay.
reports.
And the reason it's so clear is because of the springs.
yeah, yeah.
The springs flush it out.
Well, the lifeguards clean the beach portion too, like the
Yeah, but
actual
the geese are
sand.
so
But
bad.
yeah, the grass area. can
The
be-
grass on the side.
Can be
It's
really
so
bad.
disgusting.
Yeah, the quality of the water's good.
Well, we don't get those 2 things taken care of, it's like.
Yeah.
we
Is there
gotta have a
any
plan, you
update
know?
on the boardwalk grant? No.
They have it. It got approved through the EDA, so the agency has it. They haven't issued tracking numbers yet, but they got, you know, for how much funding they had requests for 6 times that. So they're going through a lot of applications.
So
So,
it's sooner than later, we're hoping though.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. I'm hoping this spring we'll have an answer. But just because we have an answer, the boardwalk still wouldn't be built until 2023.
Right.
So is what we would be looking at, not 2022. But even if we had the funds tomorrow, doesn't mean it would be built this summer just because of contractors and finding someone to actually do the project alone would be,
Bidding process.
yeah.
Do you want to tell them about that Kubota grant?
Oh, yeah. So today Lucas, our DPW director, sent me a grant through Kubota, and it's about placemaking in parks. And it was for $100,000, and it was like specifically for anything you could use or equipment on.
Right.
So it wasn't enough. I called on it. It wasn't enough for the boardwalk, plus we already had a grant for that. I did apply for the skate park for that grant. So that was a pretty quick process today.
So where is that you have like 400, how much do you have for that?
We have just over 200,000.
And you need 6.
We need 4 to build it.
So we could do it. We could do it with 2. They've said really, I think that they'll do something for us.
Yeah.
Whatever we
Right.
raise, but to do it the way the plans are, the concrete part was 3, and then lighting and benches and landscaping is another 1.
And once we hit our goal or whatever we decide, they'll come back with more concrete plans that we'll all look at and approve. I mean, what we put out when we presented the plan was just Evergreen getting something together very quickly, so we had an image. So.
Is it something that could be started and then added to
Mhm.
as more funds come in?
Yep, most definitely. It could be a phased project. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just the thing with the skate park, is you'd want to get the infrastructure in,
Right,
and then you could add,
The concrete
The-
part.
the lighting and the
Yeah.
benches.
Yeah.
So they could do the infrastructure with 300? With
350 would get the concrete skate park. Yeah, and we're at 200, and then we have the Kubota grant in, and a community foundation grant in, and a Rotary grant in.
Okay.
So
And community was 15?
15, and the Rotary was 25. And we should hear on those fairly quickly. And we did make it to the second round for the foundation grant. I have an interview with their youth committee April 6th. So we did get selected to go in front of their committee. So
Are there any other grants for the boardwalk you could submit to?
there are, but the problem with submitting 2 at the same time is if we got both, you have to turn one of them down, and that looks bad. But I did speak to DNR about that if EDA didn't come through the trust fund, they said that would be a fit if we wanted to do that. So we could fundraise for really whenever we saw fit, start the fundraising and go through that process. Because we probably have to fundraise anyway to do the matching funds for a grant.
So are you thinking you're going to start fundraising? Even if we get the grant, we have to fundraise.
Yes. we would
Even if we
probably-
don't
yeah,
get the grant, we have to fundraise.
Right.
So when are we gonna kick that off? Or when are you?
Victor and I are kind of waiting to see if we hear back from EDA this spring, just because we need to have a fundraising goal.
Right.
So.
Because all
wanna
those
have
summer
more-
people are gonna come back and they're
Yeah.
gonna realize, whoa, that thing
Right.
is not there, and
Mhm.
they might, donate.
Do you have
So
reason to
some might
think?
donate, but the problem we're gonna have is nobody's gonna be able to build it this year.
Right. But if we don't start, it's such
Right.
I
a.
mean, anybody that's
Yeah.
any good of any consolation in this state is booked.
Mhm,
But I
yeah.
definitely foresee that being the next fundraising.
Do they have their own construction crews, or does somebody like John do it, or how
It
does that
would
work?
get subbed out to
Yeah.
a general.
Okay.
DNR, same way we bid out. You have to take the lowest reputable bid.
Mhm.
You would not have a choice, so.
Yeah, and there's three or four phases to that. As far as equipment, helical piles, steel structure, concrete, wood. I mean, it's not just a one size fits all kind of gig. It's a,
Different skill sets and.
there's a lot to it.
That's
So do
definitely
we
top
want
of
to
the
talk
list.
about it at the next meeting? Then will be middle of May. Maybe we'll know by then, and maybe we should at
Yeah.
least start making plans for fundraising.
Rob told me to reach back the 1st of June, because he said he would have a good feeling by then what was gonna move forward and what was not going
For
to
the-
move
for the
forward.
grant.
Correct. And then from there, we can decide if we want to start fundraising, do other grants. I just want to get that initial, where are we going? Like, do you think it's gonna go through or not go through? So,
Don't you think we're gonna have to fundraise no matter what, and it just wouldn't hurt to have some plans
yeah,
in place so we can just hit the road
Maybe let's
running?
just say it's tough to fundraise and we don't have an amount,
Yeah, you don't have a specific plan for the
you know.
cost.
But John, what's stopping us from having to drawing up the plan that we want, or do we have that?
We already
we
have
have a
it.
plan, yeah.
You have the plan, so
Mhm.
if we fundraise, we can say, this is the plan. We're not sure if we're gonna get the grant, but this is the amount of money we have. If we get the grant, it's gonna be this much. If we don't, but we do, so we have something we can show people.
The other question would be, who do we fundraise through? Cause that's a lot of money for the city to take in. Like, do we wait for Allison, the 501c3 that's already in the
What about the
process? Do
foundation?
we do the foundation? They're gonna take a percentage, which is fine. That's what we're doing with the skate park.
Except
percentage do
that,
they
why
take?
can't you,
3%.
like when we gave to the fire department, you know, we just wrote it to the fire department.
Yeah, but that goes into a separate, you have to ask Nick.
It goes into a separate, but how many donations do you think you get a year?
Well, but it would be earmarked. We'd have to be like the police or like the fire department. When we get donations in, it's earmarked specifically for
Yeah, why would that be a problem?
certain things. Like when the police gets donations, it's earmarked towards equipment.
Right.
So if people wanted to donate to the city for the boardwalk, I'm sure Nick could create a line item.
And we wouldn't have to get a 501c.
Yeah, that's a Nick question.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You'd have to ask Nick
I
about
know
that,
there
but
was a
I
hiccup
think
with the skate park and we.
because when
did it.
donations come in for certain things, it just goes to a line item somewhere, kind of thing. So if we created, I think if Nick was able to create a fund and say it goes to First Community Bank or whatever, then that just gets,
Something I don't. Yeah, I can't believe that we can't donate to the city. Because it would be the same thing as like, okay, I wanna buy a couple trees or like when you were fundraising for that fire
The
department.
nice thing also,
That was a big amount.
Yeah.
And we
it was
just.
$1 million. I mean,
Yeah, we just gave it to the city, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it went right
Maybe
into,
you
It would
could
be-
check
it went
with
right
Nick.
into the firefighter fund.
another thing to point out is it'd be different if someone was coming forward, if 5 people were coming forward with $100,000. And that's 5 letters going out thanking them. If we have a lot of people donating to this, we're gonna have to put city staff on writing letters and they like the foundation, that's what the fee is for. Like they manage all the money, they send out and mail out the
Yeah, but you
donation
know something,
letters.
I was on a.
But if,
You just say, okay, Susan Clark's gonna take care of, every time you get a big fundraise, it's like when I was a library board, you just write, one person takes care of that. It doesn't take that much time to write a
collectively as a
thank
group, I
you.
mean, we could write thank you
We
letters.
can write thank you
I mean, we
letters,
can
yeah.
write thank you.
Have a letterhead,
That is not a problem.
have a
Yeah.
letterhead.
If that's what's holding you up, we can write thank you notes.
Do you want to talk to Nick and find out what the mechanism would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because somebody this summer is going to say, I'll give to the boardwalk, but I'm interested in doing it right now because I'm here having
Well, we
fun.
just need to have,
And
like when
so-
I was fundraising for that ladder truck, if we got a portfolio, 3-page book, you opened up, here's the drawing, here's what we're looking at, blah, 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 done.
But we just gave that right to the city and I mean,
Yeah, it went right into-
fire department.
Yeah,
but,
it went right into the
Yeah,
fire department
yeah.
fund.
but
Okay.
if it's a thank you notes, we can take care of that. That's.
Yeah.
And we could even get stationery, from Parks and Recreation or whatever, City of Harbor Springs.
Let's keep moving. We've got 20 minutes here.
Yep.
Mission statement. What do we
Yes.
have right now, Rachel? We did get permission to use that photograph from Charlie McGinnis.
So right now, for the mission statement, I was working on the Parks and Recreation Department's mission is to have exceptionally maintained, safe, and inclusive recreation amenities to establish Harbor Springs as a leisure destination while also serving year-round residents. I don't know if any of you guys brought ideas.
Sounds good.
I think that's good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so.
Covers all bases.
Project matrix, so there's, we have 2 matrices. One is the capital improvement projects, and how many are on there right now? We're not
I
gonna
don't
go
have
over
an
that
exact
today,
number,
but yeah.
everything we've brought up. And some of
So
Scott's.
this is the project list. So there's also another one for bigger capital improvement projects. So I love this matrix that Rachel put together. I think it's really good. It's easy to look at, easy to read. I'm gonna suggest an organizational format. You wanna switch over to mine just for a second, Rachel? I didn't get this typed. I think maybe all these things that are on here, I think it's gonna be easier for us to work with if we slot them into a category. So like some system-wide stuff that applies across all the parks. Review programming, needs and wants, safety and maintenance plan, we've talked about that, getting something in writing on that. The goose poop is all parks, but mainly the waterfront ones. We'd like to do recycling receptacles at all of the parks. Standardized signage was on the list. Review and update for ADA compliance. Across all the parks, conduct surveys. And then I think that it would be good to do it with the city and townships. We just sent out the bills to the other townships, and there was about a 28% increase. And there's been one comment on it so far, the increase. So I think, to do these surveys is super important.
We increased the money that they pay in 28%?
Yes.
Okay.
So previously it was plus or minus 30,000 between the two townships. So
Because our cost went up.
Yeah.
Well, no, I agree.
Just
Hey, I'm a city resident. We've been paying for, and I'm happy to pay for anything with the kids, but
Yeah.
the townships have always gotten off easier, I think.
yeah, so I think this,
Yeah.
doing surveys will set the
Right.
stage for who really uses the parks, the
Right.
city, as a township, as a visitors. Of course, complete the master plan and do the public input meeting. I think we've already started on establishing fees and procedures for rentals. And then we need to inventory and document all the parks, and that'll be soon. And then, as Josie said, her comment for the master plan was to review environmental best practices and start to get those put into place. Then community outreach and education, come up with an overall marketing strategy. Have a parks volunteer group. Social media we've been doing, but we could do more, maybe like a monthly little parks corner in the Harbor Light highlighting one of our parks. Maybe an annual work day at a different park every year. We've got our Fall Fest, Winter Fest. Funding, we've just started talking a little bit about an annual fundraiser. Like it could be super fun to have like a pig roast at Marina Park or something along those lines. The whole township participation thing. Then Friends of the Park, and it could be like a donor arm. It could be sort of like a foundation, and then it could be a volunteer arm. And then the rest just goes through kind of park by park. And let's see, do you want to take a minute and go back to those? Does anybody have any other system-wide things they would like to put on the list?
If you're gonna do surveys, you need to reach out to Friendship, Cross Village, and Redmond townships.
Yep. Good thought.
Given some of the outcry over the past month or so, there was quite a bit from out that way, not just
Friendship,
between
Redmond,
Little
what was
Trip,
the other one, John?
Pleasant View, Crossville.
Yep.
Friendship, Redmond, Cross Village, Pleasant View. There we go.
And then plus the
That's basically my
TPs.
fire district. So,
That's somewhat aligned with the school district.
yes.
Okay. That's it, system-wide stuff we would add.
On the wish list or projects, is that what you're asking? Rachel and I spoke at the school Hot Cocoa Day sledding about the possibility of doing a community garden.
Yes.
And putting it here, and then with the community garden, we could start the volunteer auxiliary to get people to come and help with the garden.
Are you talking about a flower garden or a?
Vegetables,
Okay.
vegetable garden.
So actually, if we go through the park by park thing, under Jean Jardine Community
Yeah.
Garden. And I think something that we could have Northern Irrigation do is put a sleeve underneath the driveway so that they've got a spigot for people to water with.
Well, it should talk to Lucas first. I'm not so sure this is the right spot. The spot might be right over here where the tribal group used to do their thing.
Because this is.
Right, it was on
this-
the edge where the old deer park used to be. They used to have their teepee and their garden. I'm not sure what they had there, honestly.
I think that's where we're
But-
putting the rain garden as well, so that might be a good, like, together.
And that space, when we wanted to build a new
I
library.
think the soil will be better up
Right.
there,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, that's really water, that's the low water level in that area, we were told. So I don't know if that is.
I'll speak to Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
right,
just to find
maybe
out
there's a
what
level of
areas are
top.
better
If we do
for
a
that
Right.
particular thing.
If we do a raised garden, you know, we can control how wet it is and all that a little bit more too.
Yeah.
But let's have it on,
Depends.
let's have it on the list
Yes.
somewhere, yeah. What about outreach, education, any other thoughts on that?
I think that kind of doing the volunteer and outreach kind of would go hand in hand to kick it off with getting people involved in starting up the garden.
Working with the schools. I mean, that's where the kids are,
Yeah.
different things like that. Were you, we talked about doing our own Facebook.
Yeah,
Page
that's in my
type thing.
director's report. But yes,
Gotcha.
And
We all seem to share a lot of stuff that,
yeah,
you know, amongst ourselves or, and we all got
we're gonna begin the flood.
1,000
city
friends, so
page,
by the
so
time-
we
by the time
we need to move
it gets
on.
repeated. So,
A little park by park, stuff, maybe, Marina Park, what I had down is continue with lawn rehabilitation. Rachel was gonna reach out to, was that Dan's Green Side Up or something like
I
that?
wasn't here in the spring, so I'll have to look through
Yeah.
our records.
And I think we should stay on that program. I think we made huge strides this year. I had written down the Harbor Eats idea where we have like 3 food tents at the park on, I don't know if it'd be Saturdays or maybe whenever they want to do it.
It's whenever they wanna do it.
Yeah.
That's what the application.
We've actually got a couple that are signed up already, right? Tilly's Taffel and Susie's Pies.
Saturdays are really
Down there
popular
by
days,
the
the farmers
gazebo?
market,
Yeah, kind of by the gazebo where there's power,
right in the
Yeah.
corner by here.
kind of where Small Batch was at Fall
I
Fest.
forget we talked about that.
We talked a little bit about maybe the benches that are along the sidewalk right by the boat slips. Put those somewhere else and make those backless benches where we could put concrete under it so it doesn't get so muddy there. So that way you can face either way instead of like if we're having something, we move the benches around.
Probably those benches are for the boaters. They're not necessarily part of the parks. Those benches that are along that sidewalk are for the boaters.
The
I
Run
think they're
Marina
for
Park?
everybody.
I mean, originally, now that we maybe changed some things, that might not be the case, but yeah, those are still
the
slip
general.
owner. Double check that, but I think at one time those were meant for the slip owners.
Well,
Right
I know
there.
one thing Sharon.
Cause that's what the
Wallace-
grills and all that stuff, that's what all that stuff was originally there for.
Yeah, originally, and then I think when we got the new benches, those came out of the general fund and not the waterfront.
Good.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but, and I,
Sharon said
Before we
like
make
a
a plan,
bunch of
start
people in the
switching
park.
stuff around, we better make sure.
yeah, people move
Yeah.
them and they move them like right in front of a boat, and I think that's kind of awkward. So that's why we talked about possibly cementing them in like in between slips, because Sharon had mentioned, like Jana said,
We could put a
We
cement
can come
slab
kinda
or you'd have to
staring.
chain it. You don't wanna fix them in the concrete, they'll rust out.
right,
We'd have to chain them.
Or not chain them.
bolt them, can't you bolt them? And
I think they're gonna go anywhere
that's
really.
it, I've seen before,
If they've got plates on them.
yeah,
Yep.
I believe they do, yeah. They're meant to be bolted,
They are,
That's just,
okay.
I'm pretty sure when we put them together.
Yeah, it'd just be a matter of
I'd have to go with them
putting the
again,
base in.
but
Then also Marina Park, his garden club committed to taking over the gardens there.
at Marina Park,
Yeah.
she's in Florida right now, so I haven't spoken to Nancy yet.
So that's
their
what we're
president.
hoping happens,
I don't-
otherwise there might be another flower.
I don't think they're
planting day.
looking to take it over, but I think they're willing to talk about kind of what we want it to look like, so it vibes with the rest of
And that
the
wouldn't be
garden.
free.
Yeah,
Do they have flower pots down there?
It's free right
I
now.
thought they.
yeah, there were a couple of them.
Well,
We
because
could
they
get
came-
donors for the flowers. I think the city
Yeah.
paid for them last year, and then I personally don't mind planting flowers.
So I know we donate.
Yeah, I like doing it.
It's a donation. They take care of the fire hall, stuff like that.
Okay,
Because
we
then
better keep
they
moving
came to council,
to talk about it.
well, wanted a little more money just because everything's got, volunteers are down and everything's got a little more expensive.
Then I love the idea of shuffleboard, but maybe that's got to be a little further down the road because we have bigger priorities. And is Marina Park right? Or, I think it'd be fun to have somewhere. Ford Park, I think this whole dewatering the site thing is something that should be a priority.
I spoke to Lucas about that, and he said that's only when the water is so high. He said
It was
that's,
that way all summer last year.
yeah, but he said that's because the
Table.
water table was high. He said that's not normal. And it should be better this year. We'll
So
double
that's-
check,
It's a
obviously,
low-
keep an
it's a
eye
low
on it.
area.
But he said that was a really rare, like, weird thing, and usually it goes down. So hopefully
That's
that
been
won't
like that
be.
for at least 5 years. But
I
now
think
the
it
water
has
levels
too.
are going,
Okay.
the water
So-
levels are going down.
This would be definitely something that benchmark civil engineers would do. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
It would be expensive.
Yeah, what would you think they could do? Drain it?
They'll
Put French drains around
Yeah.
it. It would be expensive.
French drains, and you even could bring the grade up. We were talking about some site furniture there, tables and benches, and then kayak storage, of course, is important. Soaring Beach, the bathroom's completed, right, Rachel?
Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
director's report.
Beautiful. And then also due to be completed is reinstalling the playground equipment in the grassed area, used to be on the beach. I don't know if we want to, when we think about tables, think about putting umbrellas on some of them, or if we want to put some trees in, because you do see people just go straight for underneath that big tree. So I don't know if we want to have more shade opportunities. And then so this is more of a Zorin Park thing. So back when we lived down in Northville, Oakland County had this wonderful, and actually, okay, I think this is something we should go after the county on. The county had this wonderful movable portable stage that they would take to different parks for concerts and events and stuff like that. So maybe that shouldn't be on our list, but it should be on our list to talk to the county. Let's see. The beach, okay. Zorin Park, we were just talking about some benches, I think, Rachel, and tables.
I put kayak storage on our matrix, but I want to be really careful with putting that on our stuff because we do not control that. We can go to the Harbor Commission and recommend that we've had comments for kayak storage.
Correct.
But that's really not our wheelhouse. So,
It's not our gig.
but with that though, I think what would be nice is maybe doing a joint meeting, Parks and Harbor Commission every year. Maybe in the spring or fall and talk about our future ideas.
Yeah.
Really anything that we do on the waterfront parks is gonna come out of those budgets. So you kind of have to be
Spring would be a good time.
moving in the right direction.
Do it
But-
April, May. since-
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Do you want to
So
talk
do
to JB?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to their meeting tomorrow, so I'll speak to him.
Do they pay to keep their kayak there? Is there a
Yes, we
fee?
get it for life,
Yeah.
once you have it. yeah.
My big gripe is that half those things never move and and they don't, I know they can't give city people or Harbor Springs school system people first choice,
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah.
just like, put more racks up, but they're gonna be for people who just stick them there and never use them.
Yeah.
You know, there should be a rule. If you don't use them, you can't, have
What
a
is the
rack.
rental fee for them? Do you
To
know?
be honest, I don't even know. Mike handles all of that. So, careful to not
Because maybe, yeah. maybe
cross the line.
maybe that will motivate people to give them up if they're not using them.
Right. I think that's a dead horse. I think when we
It's
looked
kind of like trying to
into.
get slipped down here in the marina.
Yeah, I don't know if Mike tracks
Yeah,
it,
which-
like how
Matthew
often
waited
people take them
18
off
years.
or what.
18 years to get a slip.
Well,
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
Yeah.
My director's report's long, so
What?
my director's report's long.
Okay, the dog solution at Soul Beach, and I think that should be a priority for this year to figure out if we want some rules that are a little bit different. I think we should try some different rules before we even have a discussion about eliminating it. I know there are some people are big on that, but.
Eliminating the dog park,
The dog.
The dog beach.
dog beach.
Eliminating dogs from the beach.
That's not gonna happen. But
So I think it, like maybe a halfway point would be just to have some hours when dogs can be there maybe, but so let's make that a
But
priority.
then who enforces that
yeah,
would be the thing.
and you
Probably
know,
nobody unless somebody called to complain.
yeah, and you know, the other point, I mean, I love dogs as long as they're on the beach, I mean, on a leash, but if we allow dogs on that front, you know where the courtesy dock is, where all the duckies is so bad. There's never geese on that dog beach.
No.
And so if you let people walk their dogs,
I've talked to Victor about it,
let
even on our
them be
city beach.
in the city beach. We might not have ducks, but I mean,
You
I
can't
don't
have them
know.
there all the time now.
But you could do it in the morning, like when no one's here
Yeah.
at a certain time, and the lifeguards are there, so that can be regulated.
Right,
That's something
yeah,
that can
right.
actually be watched, so we've talked about that. We've also
Right.
talked about if the dog, changing it to leashes, but we don't even have a leash ordinance for the city, so we can't,
We don't?
no.
Oh, jeez, I didn't realize that.
No,
Now,
they
so
have to
any
be
part
under
you can
your
go.
direct control.
Yeah.
gotta be under control, like my lab's got a collar,
Right.
so he's right next to me, and if he goes, steps out of line, there's a little beep, and he comes
Yeah,
right back to me, but
Not everyone has that.
no, no.
Unfortunately.
Okay, let's move on to Kiwanis. So on the wish list, I don't know how big a priority is to update the bathrooms and then put in a utility sink. We were talking to John about that. Trail signage, I think this is a way down the road, but things that are real hot with the kids now are zip lines and slack lines.
Josie, is that what's hip with the kids? We wouldn't know.
I'm honest. You mean I don't have the pulse?
And I don't know how you,
What would you do if you went to the park? What would you like to do if you went to a park?
Well, I feel like for younger kids, like they really like zip lining, but I think slack lining is more of a thing like out west kind of. But I don't know, I mean, it could be cool, like because I don't know if like people my age would necessarily do it that much, but I'm sure younger kids would really like.
something my grandkids are all 8 to 12. They all have zip lines in their yard and they are really fun. And that could be done up there. I don't know what the liability would be. I mean.
Well, you're gonna have to pay somebody to be
Have to
there.
be staffed.
Two.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Gonna have one up.
Got it, okay.
But down the
One of
road,
each.
if the park progressed to
Well, I
affect that
think
way.
if we look
They're
at,
not that expensive,
we
John.
get around to updating it,
Yeah,
then that can be incorporated
Yeah.
in,
Into the.
That could be a
That
phase
is a
2
big
for the
hit.
park.
yeah,
yeah.
And
Oh,
then,
I love ziplining,
yeah,
Yeah.
my kids.
so we
do
just
it.
have a real loose parking situation up there, which I think is working fine, but down the road, maybe that needs to be updated.
I think it'll be updated when we look at the,
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
CIP list,
Yeah.
so.
Cosequat, a bike fix-it station, and then were you looking into replacing playground equipment there? Is that a capital thing or
That's a capital improvement project.
Is
so it's
that
not-
baseball?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, please do that. That park is so heavily used during the baseball season and the equipment is junk. I'm
wore
surprised,
out.
nobody's been killed up there, but honestly.
Yeah,
but,
it's pretty outdated.
Skate park, we kind of know what's needed. That's more part of the capital thing. Jean Jardine, the community garden, and maybe some more site furniture, maybe a concert at Ottawa, Shea Park, some site furniture, maybe more benches or something. And then at some point, I think we should discuss this locomotive. I feel like suddenly it's going to be in the park without us being able to weigh in on it.
I'd have to go
Are
to
we
council.
responsible for the locomotive?
No, but I think right now the Historic Society thinks that's where they're going to put it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that plan, preliminary plan's already been
I think that's a great idea personally, but
right out near the road, actually.
By the boat? Which road?
Beach. It's gonna go kind of right where the old grade used to go,
Where's
That's
it gonna be, John? It's not gonna be where the.
where the parking spaces are,
Bay Street.
or Bay
Oh,
Street.
Bay
I
Street.
said beach,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
I think
Bay.
that's a bad idea, because that's where the food trucks are this summer.
Supposed to
It's
go right
not
behind the
So you
trees.
have
as
to walk
large,
around.
I will say, it's not as large as what I pictured in my head. It's smaller than the boat, like drastically smaller.
Yeah, about half the size.
Yeah. Because when I pictured it, I thought the same thing. So I think it's something they would have to bring it to like council and we'd have to look at real,
But
like
it's gonna be in the
measuring.
grass.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
It would kind of be like getting,
It's behind the trees,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
probably, well, that one plan that we saw was 10, 15 feet off the road for parking area.
Okay. That's about that. What do we have left? Quickly, let's see. Just started talking with Sunny about kind of a last mile fundraising campaign to raise funds for the skate park. I don't think we need to go into it in depth.
I'll
today.
send it in my summary email.
Yeah.
Are we all
Yeah.
comfortable with that? And then
Good
we'll
idea.
talk about it at the next meeting.
Yep, then, I think for the next meeting, just as an introduction, let's bring ideas for Marina Park Summer of 2022. What do we want to happen there? Do we want to change anything from what we did last year?
Games, small things like that.
And there's a lot of entertainment already.
Already.
I was gonna say, can you put together a list of
What's there?
what's going on this summer there between the chamber and everything else?
I will do that all.
Kind of got an idea.
There's a lot, you know.
I know there's a lot going on
I'm
now
gonna-
that things are back to normal.
Fly through my director's report.
Yes, let's do it. We're close.
Hold on tight. So we put in the grants, like I said, for the Rotary and the foundation. I have that Wednesday, April 6th at 11:30. It's at the college in Petoskey with the youth committee, and then we will know a couple weeks after that. So that's a pretty quick process. I'm gonna do a Parks and Recreation Department presentation at the council meeting April 11th with all of our updates, what we're doing for the summer, talk about the Easter egg hunt, all that. Cool. And then the MParks conference, whew, I won't bore you with all this. But, so we talked about the ARPA funds that were discussed, gosh, a year ago, and then just kind of dropped off the 150 million that was gonna be available to local parks. That is still in the works, and there should be more information coming out this summer. They just don't know how to be funded. It'll go through the DNR grant process or how the state will figure that out. But we should have a lot of funding opportunities coming this summer, hopefully, once it gets through legislation. I went to a DNR class. All grants are due April 1st. We can apply for 3 passport grants a year. You just rank them 1 through 3 on what's your top priority. And trust fund grants, you can do 1 a year and there's no cap. I mean, you can apply for 1 every year and 3 passports every year, and they just decide on what they're gonna fund. So that was a really good one. You can go to the trust fund board and present your projects in their August and December meetings via public comment. I had a really good class on financial sustainability, and it kind of changed my perspective on parks and being stewards for taxpayer dollars. If anyone wants a presentation, we'll send it to you. It's fantastic. But it's basically about, like how we said, doing surveys and making sure we're putting our tax dollars to what the people actually want and what are the most commonly used spaces, and not pulling out projects and saying, we're gonna do this, and then nobody uses that, or doing program that nobody uses, things like that. So just making sure they're going to the common good and not individual things. And then I did one on social media. And this was what kind of led, we're kind of flooding the city Facebook page. And I think we're losing, people are following the city Facebook page for updates on agendas and public hearings and things like that. I think we can create a parks page that is more fun and has its own character. And that'll give us, like, we can do like monthly stories, things like that. But I think that's what we should do. We should look at creating our own Facebook page. It's gonna take a little bit to get momentum, but I think once we do, it'll be a more fun tone. So everyone on board with that? Yes.
That's fine, but I will say, because I do some social media, the number of people today on Instagram
Yeah,
is so much
we can do
greater.
Instagram too. The city has an Instagram. But again, I would probably do a parks. My other point is there's a skate park Instagram out there. So that would be separate unless we want to merge them, but that would probably be.
I keep it separate.
Separate, and if
Yeah.
if you set up an Instagram page and a Facebook page, when you post on Facebook, you post it right to Instagram, so it's
Yeah,
one
that's the way-
post.
that's
You
the way
don't have
mine
to
is.
Post on both.
So. All right, these
I
are
don't
the
know how I did it,
new,
but that's what I did.
these are the new Ford Park bathrooms. And the beach bathrooms look exactly the same.
Oh, fantastic.
They're just, I just didn't get
Nice
pictures.
and fresh and
Right.
clean.
That's great.
I haven't cleaned the purchases yet, don't judge them, but they're very pretty.
Very nice.
And then sledding and s'mores, so we did 3 dates. Our expenses were just over $1,200. And then these were our donations, and we spent a total on the 3 events, $389.82. So that's pretty impressive, considering we did 3 events and had probably 50 to 100 people at each event.
Wow.
So 17 surveys total. Every survey, all 17 said they expressed that they would like more events. Josie, do you have to leave?
Yeah.
Go ahead, go
It's
ahead.
okay.
Okay.
Good luck, have fun.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Amenities, surveyors did not want changed. The comments were the building ceiling, they really liked that. The homey feeling of the building, and the sled hill. So they would not want changed. Things they would like to see, ice rink, new restrooms, more use and rental information of how to rent the building. I think a lot of people were surprised we rented it out. A tow rope, and there was 1 dog park comment. And you can see that this is Harbor Springs. This is Little Traverse Township, and this is other. So the other could have been Friendship,
Wherever.
Cross Village, so maybe we
Downstate.
add those to them. And then for marketing, social media, word of mouth, school postings, and flyers, and some of them overlap. I saw them in both places. So yeah, and these are our beautiful photos. And that's it. Sorry, that was kind of a crash course.
Very good. Very good.
Good. Good report.
So, and like I said, if anyone has more questions about the M Parks or anything like that, I have a bunch of notes in the presentation. That's all I have.
Any other new business? Good. We adjourn the meeting at 7:02.